Up next is some Evil Dead news.
Not if you're an Army of Darkness fan.
Get the fuck out of my face.
So out November 6th on 4K Ultra HD from Lionsgate is the Evil Dead Groovy Collection. This collection, Russ, contains Evil Dead 1 and 2 in a 4K Blu-ray combo pack.
What's the Army of Darkness looking like?
It also contains all 3 seasons of Ash vs. Evil Dead on Blu-ray.
I mean, that's pretty cool for a supplemental feature. What's Army of Darkness looking like?
It comes with 1 DVD of bonus content, which is identical to the DVD of bonus content that arrived with the Anchor Bay release however many years ago.
Well, that's cool, man. We get all the archival features, but what is Army of Darkness looking like?
There aren't any new features. Everything's ported over from a previous release, and there's no Army of Darkness.
And why not?
Obviously, that's like the nail in the coffin on this thing, and it's the biggest complaint that anyone could have. I mean, unless you're an absolute must-buy everything type collector or must-buy everything Evil Dead related type collector, this isn't for, I don't think, the general collecting community. Like, I don't understand what this is or who this is for.
It's exactly who you just said, and
that's what this market's still thriving on?
I fell off that train about 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I've spent enough. I even own Evil Dead 1 and 2 already in 4K.
Yeah.
Enough for me. And dude, I'm sorry. This is not the franchise that you separate an entry out of. This is damn near a perfect trilogy. Might be the best trilogy. I'll say that shit. That 3 films that all 3 land. Dude, Army of Dark, you can't. I could never buy this without Army of Darkness.
Are you listening to me? Do you hear what I'm saying?
Now, we know why. It's because Scream Factory owns the rights to Army of Darkness.
Yep.
But like I said, you are literally just taking advantage of the fan base with this one because it is incomplete.
Why are you torturing me like this? Why?
And they've already mentioned, I think even a year ago, that they had a 4K version of Army of Darkness in the works. So this set just seems lazy.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, and in more ways than one. Like,
there's no new features.
So
you said,
there's
right?
absolutely 0 new features. If you even look at the discs, they're all the same discs.
I was about to say those
every
discs
disc is the same.
The blue, that's exactly the that cover I was talking about with the Digibook DVD that I own. And those discs look identical to it.
The discs are identical. You've got this DVD of bonus content that's being ported over again from the Anchor Bay release, which the Anchor Bay release at the time was on DVD. So you couldn't like just move the DVD feed, make this whole thing a Blu-ray 4K set. You have to like have some DVD of bonus content in there too. Again, it's just grabbing something from every release that's already come out and just putting them together in what appears to be a box that you're buying and a big booklet as well. Now you can't see what's inside the booklet and the box isn't horrendous, but it's just overall, it's lazy. Even if the series itself all of a sudden got upgraded to 4K, which it's never been released in 4K, but could you imagine if that was an element of this? Like, wow, maybe this is a reason to buy this. Maybe there is something worth, looking at here. But this is just, like you said, the same old repackaging over and over again, trying to milk it for all it's worth. And really, it's not worth much anymore. It's not complete already, so that's already, like I said, the nail in the coffin right away, but it's also not even definitive as Evil Dead 4 has already been announced. So you know that there's more to come. Even if they chose to kind of keep reboots out of it and just do the ones that star Bruce Campbell, then there's still a 4th one coming. There's still going to be another set like this coming out. There's just no feeling like this is over.
I don't think so.
When will be the day when the Evil Dead fan out there, like myself and probably like you, are going to get the definitive thing that just scratches every itch, kind of like the Friday the 13th box that came out that was like nailed every single point that you would want in a set like that? When are we going to get that instead of just another cash grab after cash grab?
Bet you'd like that, wouldn't you?
I'll take all 3. I don't need the show. I don't need the remakes. I'm just saying something that I look at and I'm like, that's the set for me that contains everything I want and I'm good. Like, I don't need the fancy sliding boxes and everything else. I want the movies that I want and the transfers that look great with the features that make sense and that I would be proud to have on my shelf. My favorite release of all of these was back on DVD in those Necronomicon books. I felt like, that was like such a creative way to put that stuff out. And if that's all that ever came out, if they put that back out in a 4K, I'd buy that. I mean, that's like, it stays true to the spirit of the movie. If you've never seen any of these movies and you decide that you want to pick this up just because this is something you've heard about or this is something that you're interested in, from what I'm aware of, at least in the little bit that I have seen of Ash versus Evil Dead, which also kind of makes this set weird, is that they reference Army of Darkness. They reference plot points. It's like you're not even having this here, so the entry-level person trying to get into the set for the first time is basically screwed.
It is. From what the little bit I've seen of the show, it definitely felt more in the Army of Darkness universe. Ash is even more outlandish in the series from what I saw, which is more in line with Army of Darkness than it is Evil Dead 1 or 2. It's kind of like a transition. Evil Dead, it's relatively serious. 2, it's goofy. Army of Darkness, we're just in full-blown, what the fuck. And then the series kind of took it up another notch, almost to the point of where Ash is kind of unlikable.
Oh, no. No.
There's nothing groovy about this set.
It's not. It's very ungroovy. It's like the get the fuck out of my face edition. And I think the thing that bothers me the most, and why I was saying, when are they going to give us something? Because Evil Dead 2 is like top 5 for me. And this series, like you said, is a perfect trilogy within our generation, our era. And hopefully people beyond us will look back and appreciate these films too. But I've never once felt like they put out a release that was the release to have and feel solid with as a collector.
Dude, they flooded the market from the gate. None of the releases did. I'm with you. The closest were the Necronomicon ones. But like even those, because Army of Darkness wasn't one, it just feels like, we're milking
We're just churning it out. Even if someone went out of their way and paid tribute to one of them really well, like when Shout Factory does something, like maybe it'll be something more than just their traditional release. Maybe it'll be something great that comes with it. Or if like Arrow picked up Evil Dead and did their style of a release with it, even if the other two weren't there, there just hasn't been any level of care given to these films by a studio that gave a shit, by the supplementals that were put on it, with the materials that come with it that we've come to know and love with physical releases these days. Nothing has been, like even those 4K steelbooks that you got, it's just the same old shit. It's just a disc. It's like, that's it. These movies are a huge deal for, the format, at least. It's kept the fucking format alive, probably, to some degree. All the releases that they've churned out. When is someone going to give a shit? Out November 6th.